Hello and welcome to the Sunbirdcrochet podcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today I'm wearing my Popelka cowl, which is my own design. You can see there are some birds, phoenix, and there are hearts up here. And the yarn I was using is John Arbin Textiles. I talked about this design before and it's available as a free download on my Instagram account. You just go to my profile, which is at Sunbirdcrochet. And there is a link tree with all my free patterns, and this is a crochet colorwork design. Today I have for you a finished object together with the Movie and Stitch challenge, and we are now at the letter H, and I have plenty of incoming yarn. And I think the overall theme of today is Halloween and spooky things. So, where shall we start? Probably with the finished object. Let me show you. This is Winnie. Winnie is one of the characters from the movie Hocus Pocus, which is my movie for the letter H. Shall we first talk about Winnie or the movie? I think we first talk about Winnie. So this is a paid-for pattern, and I'm going to put the name of the designer up here. You can find her on Etsy. And she's from Kiev, Ukraine. And this pattern costs between 6 and 7 euros. You start with making the head, then you make her hair, which is basically the same shape like the head. Then you add strands of hair, which you then later tie together here to these two buns. And you embroider her eyes with the little eyelashes, and you embroider a bit of cheek blush. The extra blush is from Dry Pastel. I have a couple of pastel pencils which I used, which worked very well. And then you continue with her body, which is like a bit of a tube, which you then sew together here at the end with her two little feet. I mean, she can't really stand on her feet, but legs and feet. And you make a dress, which is attached to the body here all around. And she has two little arms, and I sewed them on together with a button on each side. And then Winnie has a little scarf, which is a granny stitch scarf. And I put that here, I sewed that together at the end, at the back, so that it wouldn't come off. The most tricky bit is the hair. Also takes the longest, apart from the head. So you make these lots of strands of hair, and then you can tie them together as you want. You can have them loose, hanging around loosely, or you make them up here. And I use different types of yarn. The cotton yarn is pretty much straight, but I don't know if it was merino with some sort of acrylic content that rather looks like curls. I really like the curls. So yes, that's Winnie, a little witch. And as I mentioned, this is my entry for the movie with a letter H, Hocus Pocus, which is a Walt Disney movie from 1993, not animated, but with real actors. And you've probably watched it before. It's quite popular amongst women my age. So let me tell you a bit about the movie. This time I'm going to read it because me explaining things is always a little bit more complicated when it has to be. So the storyline is that on October 31st, which is obviously Halloween, in 1693 in Salem, Thackeray Binks witnesses his little sister Emily being whisked away to the woods by the Sanderson sisters, 3 witches named Winifred, which is Winnie, Sarah and Mary. At their cottage, the witches cast a spell on Emily to absorb her youth and regain their own, killing her in the process. Thackeray confronts the witches, but is transformed into a black cat, cursed to live forever with his guilt for not saving Emily. So the townsfolk, they go and catch the witches and they execute the witches, but they come back after a couple of 100 years, 1993, so 300 years later. And the legend was that they would be resurrected by a virgin. And in the movie, that's a boy who just moved into town with his little sister and his parents, and the witch's house is now a museum, and he is forced to take his little sister out for Halloween to trick-or-treat, and they come across a very big house and they meet a lovely young woman, and together they walk over, into the museum. She wants to explain the history of the witches to him, but he lights the black candle and he does a couple of things by accident, and so that the witches are resurrected. So it's his fault. And then the rest of the movie is all about preventing the witches getting his little sister and getting them back to hell where they belong. And they get help by Thackeray Binks in the form of a cat. And actually, the cat is probably my favorite character of the whole movie. But all actors are actually doing it very well. Most of all, Bette Midler as Winifred, and there's Sarah Jessica Parker, who has the talent to sing, and all the children come to her like in a trance. And the third Sanderson sister, she can smell children. So there's no escaping the Sanderson sisters. So this is my movie for the letter H, and also my project. I almost had made a different project for this movie, a black cat, but I made a gray cat a couple of years ago, and I think that one cat is enough. But this one is also a very nice pattern, and it's a crochet cat by repeatcrafterme.com. Before I move on to works in progress, I would like to give some honorable mentions for the movie or about the movie. First of all, there is Billy, the former lover of Sarah, one of the witches. He turns out to be a zombie who helps and works for the witches, but later he turns sides and he actually helps the children. Then there is the spell book, Winifred's spell book, which was granted to her by the devil himself. And this is a very creepy book. It actually has eyes which move. And also during the Halloween night, the witches mingle amongst the trick-or-treaters, and they come to a house where the owner, an old man, has dressed up as the devil himself, and the Sanderson sisters believe that he is the devil, so that makes up for quite a funny conversation, especially when the man's wife comes in. Yes, but the star for me is always Zachary Binks as the cat. I almost told you the ending, but I won't spoil it for you. The actor who plays Zachary Binks when he was still a boy, I think that he is the same actor. Let me just check before I say something wrong. The actor who plays the boy Zachary Binks, he is Sean Harland Murray, who also played in NCIS. He plays Timothy McGee, Special Agent Timothy McGee. So if he seems familiar to you, that's why. Maybe why. That's maybe why. So are you going to watch Hocus Pocus this Halloween? On to works in progress. I'm still working on the Illuminate sweater, but I haven't made any progress there. And I'm still working on my colorwork sweater, which I started without using a pattern. I'm using Holst yarn for this one, and you can see that I used here some wobble stitches, there's some color work, and then I work in the third loop or back loop here, which gives it a bit of a different texture than usual. And I finished the body, and I finished one sleeve. It's quite tight here. I finished it with just some front post double crochets US terms, and if I can put my hand in there, no problem. Just imagine it the other way around, obviously. And I'm now working on the second sleeve, and then it will be finished. But you're going to see it as a finished object sometime soon. Now, all my Movie and Stitch challenge projects are supposed to be coming from Stash. That's not something which is part of a challenge itself, but this is my own idea or aim, because I want to reduce my yarn stash. And of course, you think you run out of a certain color which you need to finish, and then you order more yarn. Silly, I know. But I just wanted to show you the cotton yarn which I bought. And believe me, they will come in handy for probably already for the next Movie and Stitch challenge project. So this is some Katona or cotton yarn which I bought from Scheepjes or Scheepjes, which means ships in Dutch, little ships. So this color here, which is royal orange. No surprising, because the national color of the Dutch is orange. Maybe I'm just talking rubbish, but yeah, Dutch are definitely associated with orange. And then I got this color here, which is spruce, and I love this one. It's a little bit darker than on screen. I think you get a lot of shine from the light. So yeah, well, this is my favorite color. And then two colors which you always need anyway. So this is just like a vintage white and a black. this was with one order. And then the biggest event of the day is the arrival of my punk rock unicorn Halloween calendar. And we're talking about 31 yarn minis in a bag, this bag. And you can see a little bit of color shining through. 31. One for each day of October until Halloween. So I'm only allowed to open this bag, put my hand in there, pour one out each day of October. And I haven't cheated yet. But I can tell you, this box, which came from Punk Rock Unicorn, it had so many different goodies. So if you've bought it as well, look away. I will put a timestamp down below. So if you want to skip ahead, or actually there's not much coming afterwards, but I will put a timestamp down below so that you can skip ahead and just watch the rest of, maybe I have some announcement, I don't know yet. I'll improvise, but you can skip so that you don't get spoiled. So this is a sticker which came with a parcel. And the original bag, which was meant for this yarn calendar, is a linen bag with that kitty on it. But the provider had a bit of delivery delays, and that's why we got the yarn in the other bag. Basically, I got the whole calendar for 20 euros less, and I will have 2 bags in the end instead of only one. But isn't this a lovely design? And she has this as design on mugs as well, like drinking mugs. It's so cute. Look at the little teeth of the kitty. Spooky kitty. So there's a sticker. There was some paper crab decorations, which I actually keep for not for Christmas, for Halloween. Then there's a little flower, because the theme of the whole calendar is Días de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. That's why you also get a couple of things from Super Skull. This is a company who provided the little extra bits from the calendar, like Räucherstäbchen. And I don't know what this is in English. It smells very nice of cinnamon and pumpkin, and this might be a sparkler even, I'm not sure. There is fire involved. And then I'm not sure if it will sparkle or if it would just give a nice smoke, with a nice scent. Surprise there. Then we have a sachet of pumpkin spice, also with a little kitty. And she has a recipe for a pumpkin cake. A cheesecake style pumpkin cake. And I'm looking forward to trying this out. Then we have a little Day of the Dead skull, which is decorative, I believe. This is from this Super Skull company. And then I have a garland, which I'm also keeping for Halloween or for my birthday. But this looks lovely. And it's also from Super Skull. And Super Skull, they are selling things which are handcrafted in Mexico. this is also from the Day of the Dead, so you can see that it's a skull and bones. So this is something for Halloween as well. And then, guess what's in here? These are sweets with a little tiny pumpkin. Quite a few of those. I feel that October will be a very colorful, yarny month. What else can I tell you about? Well, it has been less than a week when I last posted, so I bought a ticket for Murad magazine launch party on the 30th of September, and this Saturday I will go on a special tour. We will be sitting in a carriage and we will be pulled through the forest by a tractor, which all sounds very odd, but it's a it's a group event. So we all sit in the back, and you can get these tours with horse-drawn carriages, which I would prefer personally, but this specific one is drawn by a tractor. And I'm still planning to bake some lemon cake for that event, because we all bring some food and some drinks, and then we are in a small group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are only 7. So we are 7 people sitting on the carriage, being drawn through the forest, through the town, wherever he drags us. Sounds a little bit odd. It was my sister's idea, and I'm always up for something fun. What else? What else? Oh, I could tell you my next Movie and Stitch movie. It will be Into the Woods, which is based on a musical, a Broadway musical. And it has lots of singing, which I'm not too keen on, but it also has lots of fairy tales, and that I'm keen on. It feels like I forgot to mention something, but let's face it, you won't get rid of me so quickly. I will probably come back to you within a week, and then I can tell you everything I forgot to mention now. So have a spooky beginning of October or spooky ending of September. Maybe you are in the mood to get out your old DVD and watch Hocus Pocus if you have it in your shelves. I hope you enjoyed spending a bit of time with me. I will be off now because the weather outside is glorious, and I will be going for another walk in the sunshine. While we still have some sunshine, because autumn is definitely coming, and autumn here is usually wet and cold. So let's enjoy the rest of the week, and if you're watching this on the weekend, have a lovely weekend. I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye!